Hi, this is Larry London, and I welcome you to a very special Border Crossings program. Country Music Hall of Fame member and music writer, performer, superstar Charlie Daniels passed away from a brain hemorrhage and a stroke at the age of 83. Charlie Daniels, best remembered for his mega hit, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, also recorded with Bob Dylan. He was an outspoken vocal supporter of the U.S. veterans, recorded quite a bit in Nashville. He toured around the world. He was a fixture in country music for over 40 years and a tireless advocate for servicemen and women. Today we are going to rebroadcast an interview that I recorded in 2007 with Charlie Daniels, who was talking about a new album, a tour, and a book. I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did bringing it to you here on Border Crossings. We will remember Charlie Daniels on today's special Border Crossings program.
God bless you. Thank you for being with us. Good night.
Hi, this is Larry London for the Voice of America, and we welcome you to our very special 4th of July broadcast today. As sitting across from me, we have a true American patriot and a country music legend. We'd like to welcome to our show today Mr. Charlie Daniels.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be with you, Larry.
It's wonderful to have you here, sir. Now, there's a lot going on in your life, and we're going to cover quite a few of these different subjects. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the new CD, since it is the 4th of July, and we are remembering our military all around the world. You have an album out now, which is called Live from Iraq. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as the title indicates, you recorded this in Iraq.
Yes.
Can you explain what was going on?
Well, we did it. We went over a couple of times to Iraq to entertain the troops over there, and we took both times we took a video camera, and this album also has a companion DVD, which was done on the 2 trips. The music was actually recorded on the last trip that we did. We didn't have recording equipment on the first trip, so it was shows that we did around and different bases there that we put together and did a combination of. And the DVD is a little different than what you ordinarily. We weren't doing news, so we shot stuff in a lot more laid back, easygoing sort of way than you usually see on the when we think of Iraq, we think of seeing the Humvees going along with the guns on top, and we got some of that too, but not combat footage. We're just we're interested more in the in the human interest side of things. So the music is stuff. Most of it's stuff that you've heard us do for years, and that we did in special circumstances in Iraq. And of course, the DVD is kind of self-explanatory. It kind of explains what's going on. It
must have felt really gratifying to you to be there and look in their eyes, and I'm sure a lot of soldiers came up to you and thanked you for giving them some music there in the midst of all of the things that are going on.
It is always an honor to be among our military. The more I go among, the more I'm firmly convinced they're the best people we got, the best we've got to offer. People who will dedicate years out of the prime of their life to go and defend the country, and they're our best. They're the best one we got.
And what you did was wonderful, and like you said, this is the second time that you've been there, and I assume you'll be going back again. And
there's the possibility.
The new CD is called The Charlie Daniels Band, Live from Iraq, and you can get this at your local record store. And can you order this on your website?
Oh, yeah. You can order anything we got practically on our website, charliedaniels.com. It's that simple.
And if, of course, you're in the military and you are listening to this broadcast and you'd like to get a copy of the CD, then go to the website and get yourself a copy.
Absolutely. So or to the BX.
Now, Charlie, in addition to, of course, your visit to Iraq, you also have been on tour, the Volunteer Jam tour, with quite a few other superstars in the music business, the Allman Brothers, Jimmy Hall, and whatnot. How's that tour going on?
Well, this particular tour, this particular one that we're doing this year, is us, Marshall Tucker, and the Outlaws, and we're having too much fun. I mean, it's they're old friends of ours. We put a lot of time in traveling together, and also we're doing something that hadn't been done, to my knowledge, in a long, long time. Something we used to do years ago. At the end of the night, after everybody's played their show, I bring all 3 bands back out on stage, and we do this humongous jam. And, crowd gets into it, we get into it, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's something that we used to do years ago that it's kind of a lost art anymore, getting a whole bunch of people together to jam. Maybe a couple of guys will get together, a band will jam, but you get about 15 16 people out on stage playing. It's a lot of fun.
And the tour goes through the end of July.
Yeah.
And then I assume you're back at it, writing more music, planning your next CD. And
Well,
your
we're
next
still
tour.
touring, actually. That's just the volunteer jam part of the tour. We'll do about 100 to 110 dates this year altogether, all over the country, West Coast, East Coast, northern tier states, southern tier states, just everywhere. And we'll be touring up until, well, basically, we'll be going in December. So around to the middle of December. It kind of in and out of town. That's not solid, but about 110 times or so this year we'll do a show.
Why do you work so hard?
I love it. I love it. I love what I do. I just thank God I make a living doing something I enjoy so much. Every day, people don't look forward to going to work. I look forward to going to work because I enjoy walking on stage, and it's about the only time in my life I ever really feel like I know what I'm doing.
At what point in your life did you recognize that you had that gift, that you had the music talent?
I am not the most gifted musician around. I'm not a natural musician. I have to work a little harder at it than a lot of people do. But I found out a long time ago when I first started out that musicians get out of work, but entertainers never do. So I've always tried to be an entertainer. And, I don't get on stage and do stand-up comedy and that sort of thing, but entertaining people with music. And the way that a thing about a show is the way that you sequence your songs has got a lot to do with how a show goes down, the emotional content of it. You come out and you hit them right between the eyes for several minutes, and then obviously you can't stay at a fever pitch all night long. You have to kind of go up and down and back and forth. And then when you go out like a truckload of turkeys. I mean, you're just so the first thing and the first impression, the last impression is entertainment, like really getting it done.
And just looking at your resume, the hits, of course, are without saying, but all of the awards and accolades, and country music awards, and all the various different awards and achievements that you've managed to accomplish throughout all of the years in music. I would like to ask you a question you've probably been asked many times before. What would be the highlight for Charlie Daniels?
I don't really know. I mean, the things, walking on stage, entertaining people is the highlight of my career, actually. And the thing that people say, what are you proudest of? And my answer would be keeping, 20 people steadily and gainfully employed for 30 years, with 36 years, actually. And we've got a lot of people been with us for most of that time. I got one guy that's been there the whole time, and I've got several in the band and the crew and management and the office people that have been there for 25 and 30 years, and they're my extended family. I get to travel and work with the people that are my family, or my extended family, and it's a great way to live. I mean, you're around people you love and people that love you. That care. When you care about each other, I care about if one of their kids gets sick, I care about it. If I get sick, they care about it. We care about each other, and that's a great thing.
Now, that's people go. They say country music attracts a loyal fan base. It's very different than pop music. The country music fans tend to be more like family, and they'll stick with you, for a long, long, long time. Versus pop music fans that come and go and they're fickle. Have you noticed that your fans have been with you, similar fans, the same?
We're in our third generation of fans right now. People whose parents brought them to see us back in the day. They're bringing their children now, and we have a special section of our fan club I call the Century Club. And what you do, or what it is, it's like a kind of elite bunch of fans that have seen 100 shows over the years. Now, that's a lot of shows. You won't figure you see 10 shows for, maybe you live in upstate New York and we only get up there once, twice a year. And, it's like you see 10 shows a year for 10 years, 20 shows a year for 5 years, or 5 years a show for 20 shows a year for 20 years. I mean, but it's a lot, and you'd be surprised how many of those belt buckles I have given out that people have come to, 100 shows. And it's gratifying. It's very gratifying. To answer your question, yes, we've got a lot of fans that have been with us, faces that I recognize from 25 years ago. Have been around, and every time that you go to their area or anywhere close to them, they come. And then we have people who come, out to Las Vegas or to, different places that we play. If they can get there, they'll come out. And, if we're going to be there, maybe we do Las Vegas, we'll do like 3 days there in December, the International Finals Rodeo. And some people, if they can make it out a place like that or something. So yeah, we got a great fan base.
Now, you mentioned the belt buckles. I don't see the belt buckle today.
Well, this belt buckle that I have on today, you can't see it because I got my shirt down under it, but I do have a belt
Oh, you
buckle
do?
on.
There it is. There it is.
That's not the one I give out, though. This one here is about the size of a dinner plate.
Now, it's the 4th of July, and what's Charlie Daniels going to be doing after we get done here with this interview?
I'm going to be playing in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee at the Dick Clark Theater, which it'll be Dick Clark, some kind of music hall, whatever, will be the first show that I think the first show they've had in there, the first show of the first. They may have a local show that stays in there, but I think we're first traveling show that's played there, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we're gonna be kicking it up in Tennessee.
Charlie Daniels is our guest here on The Voice of America, the 4th of July special. He's got a new book out, but first, before we talk about that, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind strumming a bit.
I'll be glad to. People say I'm no good, crazy as a loon. I get up in the morning and get down in the afternoon. Kinda like my old blue tick hound, I like to lay around in the shade. I ain't got no money, but I dang sure got it made. 'Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. You don't like the way I'm a living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. A preacher man talking on TV, putting down the rock and roll, wants me to send a donation 'cause he's worried about my soul. Said Jesus walked on the water, and I know that it's true. Sometimes I think that preacher man I'd like to do a little walking too, and I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. You don't like the way I'm a living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. A poor girl wants to marry, and a rich girl wants to flirt. A rich man goes to college while a poor man goes to work. Drunkard wants another drink of wine, and the politician wants the vote. I don't want much of nothing at all, but I will tell another joke, 'cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. You don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. You don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Charlie Daniels, right here on The Voice of America. Woo! Now, you have worked with so many different people in the music business. Do you have a favorite memory, a favorite experience?
I've got a lot. Something special happened to me with the first Bob Dylan album that I worked on. I was working in a nightclub in Nashville to earn a living when I first went down. I can't remember the year, 69, 70, somewhere along in there. And Dylan was coming to town, and my friend, Bob Johnston, who actually was really responsible for me moving to Nashville, was producing a session. And I said, let me play on one Bob Dylan session, just one, so I can always say I played on Dylan, because I admired him so much. And so he put me on the early session, and I went in and played. And when I got finished, I was packing my instruments up, getting ready to go to my club gig, and Dylan asked Bob Johnson, said, where's he going? And Johnson said, he's leaving. I got another guitar player coming. He said, I don't want another guitar player. I want him. And that was, he'll never understand what those 9 words or whatever it was he said meant to me. career-wise, certainly, because he was always kind enough to put the studio musicians' names on the albums, but also just such a shot in the arm, just such a great thing for my psyche and my, my belief and my confidence in myself. And it was such a great help. That was a very special memory. I mean, I went on to do 3 albums with Bob. I did Nashville Skyline, Self-Portrait, New Morning. Wow. And that was quite an experience working with him. Working with Marty Robbins. Gosh, we played with everybody from country artists from Willie Nelson to the Rolling Stones. I mean, we've played with everybody all the way across the spectrum, and the funny thing is that, or it's not funny, it's kind of a profound thing, really, that we fit with so many different kinds of music. It's like people say you're a country artist. Well, I am, but we're a lot of other things. We play jazz, we play blues, we play, a lot of different kinds of music that I was exposed to. When I was a kid, growing up in North Carolina, there would usually just be in the rural areas, there would be like one radio station, and it may go off at dark, it's daytimers, or maybe they may stay on till 12 o'clock or something like that. But anyway, during the course of the day, they played some of all kinds of music because they had to service the whole community. The radio stations weren't formatted. Mm-hmm. They couldn't play one kind of music because they wouldn't be, satisfying their charter. They were the only game in town. So they would start off the day with country music, and they'd play something, for the ladies while they were cleaning up around the house and stuff. And then they would, over an afternoon, when the kids came home from school, whatever the popular music of the day would be, they'd have a spasm of playing that. And if you're from the Southeast, you're always exposed to the blues and gospel music. So I was exposed to so many different kinds of music. I went through the big band era. I went through the early rock era, the Elvis era. All of these different eras, I was exposed to many different kinds of music. And when I sat down to write original music, I guess it all just kind of came into my subconscious or whatever, and kind of leaped out in the form of different songs and different band arrangements, because we do play an awful big variety of music.
If Charlie Daniels wasn't making music, what would you be doing?
I really don't know. I have been asked that question before, and I said I love music so much, I'd probably try to be a disc jockey or something, to be involved in the business. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine. I am in my 50th year as a professional musician.
Congratulations.
I left North Carolina in 1958, and next summer, I left in the summer of 58, so next summer we'll complete my 50th year as a professional musician, and it's been a great ride. It is a great ride. I'm still loving it.
Well, that leads me to an obvious question then. For somebody who's been a part of music for as long as you have, what do you think about today's music?
It's like it's always been. Some of it's good, some of it's not. Mm-hmm. Some of it I don't understand. I don't pretend to understand. I don't. Some of it is very. You have an artist like, for instance, somebody that just shines on through the ages, like an Eric Clapton, for instance, that sticks with his guns and does what he does. That he's not affected by the disco thing or the hard, the metal thing or the rap thing or whatever else comes along. The thing du jour does not affect him. He does what he does and lets everybody else do what they do. That's longevity of career, and that was always one of my goals, was to have a long career. And thank God I've been able to achieve that. So, I don't know what else I could possibly do besides playing music. I don't have any interest in doing anything else, and I don't know. I'm not qualified to do anything else. I can't drive a nail. I can't saw a board. I don't have any other aptitudes. I don't have any other talents other than entertaining people and playing music and creating music.
Well, I think you certainly have enough talent in many different areas to keep you going for quite a while longer. Your third book is out now. It's a brand new book. It's called Growing Up Country.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about this book.
Actually, it's a little deceptive to say it's my book, although I did the forward. It's got my name on the front cover. But actually, I was approached by a gentleman by the name of Adler, who has done a whole series of these, growing up this profession, growing up that profession, growing up this ethnic, growing up Jewish, growing up, whatever. Anyway, decided to do a country one, a growing up country one, and for some odd reason he picked me to kind of spearhead it. So what I did, I wrote the forward, and I wrote my experiences of growing up country, and then submitted my people and myself submitted a list of names that would, people that we thought would be interested in contributing to the book. And we got a great response. We got response from NASCAR champion, a rodeo champion, an ex-president, many music people, about 3 generations of people. And the interesting part about the book is, from my point of view, or Jimmy Carter's point of view, who wrote a piece in the book, growing up country at the time that we grew up was totally different from like a Carrie Underwood, who's a new artist that grew up in Oklahoma a couple of generations later. But there's some common things that run through it. There's a big emphasis on family, and the people in the music business, there's a big emphasis on they really wanted to make it in the music business. And everything else is, like people relating what it was like to grow up. And it necessarily don't have to be that you grew up in a rural area. I think growing up country can be a state of mind, I think it can be that you're interested in the same thing that people that do grow up in rural. You like fish, you like to hunt, you like the NASCAR, you like this, you like that. The stereotype.
Now I see on the book, on the cover of the book, Growing Up Country, I see Brenda Lee. I haven't seen that name in a long time.
Brenda Lee is one of the finest ladies I know. She's a great lady. She was put into the Country Music Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, and she's a fine person.
Now what's next for Charlie Daniels?
More of the same.
More of the same.
I make records and I play concerts, and that's what I'm doing. We'll be. If I go back on the road, I go home after we get through working, and I'll go home for a couple of days, and I'll go back on the road, and it's up until December, and we'll be in and out, and then doing the odd thing like writing a book or something. I've been writing a biography for a long time. I've got probably 150, 200 pages, but I can't seem to get it finished because I'm still living it. And I keep having to revise it and going back. And I've done so many things in my life. I've done some amazing things in my life, and you tend to forget some of them sometime, and you have to, things, when I say amazing things, I mean amazing to me. It might not be amazing to some other people, but to me it was pretty amazing, some of the places I've been, some of the things I've done, and trying to put that into words to everybody, to communicate that feeling of what it felt like to go to the North Pole, or a polar ice cap, not actually the North Pole, or to go, to being shot at in a helicopter in Baghdad, or some of the things that experiences that we've had, that I personally had, that are just, they're hard to put into words. But I'm gonna keep on trying to get it done one of these days.
And you mentioned you are writing your autobiography. So when they do come out with the film, the Charlie Daniels story, what would you like it to be called, and who would you like to play Charlie Daniels?
We could call it the same thing I call my book, Never Look at the Empty Seats. In other words, accentuate the positive, forget the negative. You don't look at, it's like, because when you first start playing, early years, you're going to look at a lot of empty seats. And it depends on, that's when you're building your career, that's when you're building your character. And it depends on how you perceive your crowd. You're going to say, well, I got a few people tonight, I'm not going to entertain them. I'm just going to slough off and get through an hour and go back to the hotel. Or are you going to show them what you got? You're going to entertain those people, and when they go out the next time and they say, man, I went to see CDB last night, and those guys were great. They just, kicked butt and took names, and I'm going to see them the next time, and the talk starts. There's no advertisement like word of mouth. There's no advertisement like one person telling another person, that is a great record, or that is, and you stop and think about it. Are you going to take a critic's, opinion or something, or your buddy, somebody who shares the same, the same things in life that you share, the same taste, maybe the same music and that sort of thing? You're going to listen to somebody that says, I went to the show last night, it was this, that, and the other, and another thing, and he writes in the paper. Or are you going to listen to somebody who says, man, it was just, it was out of sight. So there's nothing like word of mouth. And that's how you build a career, is you build your career one fan at a time. And you don't look at the empty seats, you look at the full seats. And if you get up one more time and you get knocked down, you're a winner. You get knocked down 10 times, you get up 11, that makes you a winner. So, you learn your lessons in life and you apply them to your profession, and, you go on.
And who do you want to play Charlie Daniels?
My gosh, I don't know. I seriously doubt this is going to get that far. So we've been very frivolous. So we might as well go and be really, really frivolous. I'm I don't know, maybe Brad Pitt, maybe.
Why not?
He's a little fat for me, but
That's great. Well, you mentioned your international experience. I'm sure you've traveled the world over several times and performed in many different countries, and we're broadcasting right now to many different countries. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here on the 4th of July on our show. I can't think of anybody that I would rather have on our program on this particular special day.
I appreciate it, and I'd like for all the folks that are listening out there around the world to realize that this is a very special day to us, that we're celebrating 200 plus years of when we declared ourselves to be the United States of America, and it's been at times a rocky ride, but it's just a wonderful place, and we hope that all you folks listening love your country as much as we Americans love our country, and wish you all the best. And we're good people. We are good people. The United States of America is full of good people, and regardless of what you may hear somebody say or what you may read, we bear nobody any ill will. We wish we could have peace all over the world, and we wish we could have prosperity all over the world, and we are good people here. This is a good country.
Thank you very much for listening to Border Crossings. Thank you for sharing the memories. Charlie Daniels passed away at the age of 83, and he left us with a great catalog of country hits. He was a really nice guy, a good friend to the military in the United States. He had been on Border Crossings several times, so we thought it was appropriate to remember this music giant with a rebroadcast of an interview I recorded in 2007. This is Border Crossings on the VOA Global English Network.